Let's start directly. English does not need more effort from you. That might sound wrong, especially if you've been told for years that effort is the solution. But stay with this. English does not respond to pressure. It responds to conditions. Most learners misunderstand this. They keep adding effort where conditions are broken, and the result is predictable. More effort, less movement. Now, let's slow this down. Think about the moments when English works. Not when you study, not when you repeat exercises, but when it actually works. Maybe when you're distracted, maybe when you're joking, maybe when you're explaining something simple, maybe when you don't care how it sounds. In those moments, English appears, without forcing, without pushing. That's not an accident. That's the condition English needs. Now think about the moments when English fails. You care, you focus, you try to do it right, you want to sound clear, you want to sound smart, you want the sentence to land well. And English slows down, breaks, disappears. Same person, same brain, same language, different conditions. That's the key. English is not fragile. Your conditions are unstable. Now let's talk about what English actually needs. English needs continuity. Not correctness, not accuracy, not complexity. Continuity. The ability to keep going even when the sentence is unfinished. Most learners stop because they believe stopping is safer than continuing. It isn't. Stopping exposes you. Continuing protects you. This is counterintuitive, so people resist it. Now let's talk about resistance. Resistance comes from a false belief. If I continue, I might say something wrong. But wrong sentences don't end conversations. Silence does. Native speakers say wrong things constantly. They restart, they correct, they abandon sentences. Nobody notices because the conversation continues. Learners notice everything because they stop. Now let's talk about stopping. Stopping feels responsible. It feels careful. It feels controlled. But in speech, control is expensive. It costs timing. It costs rhythm. It costs access. Now let's talk about rhythm. English has a rhythm that exists before meaning. You feel it before you understand it. You follow it before you analyze it. That rhythm carries language forward. When you interrupt it, English loses its vehicle. This is why shadowing works, not because of pronunciation, because rhythm continues without permission. Now let's talk about permission again. Most learners wait for permission to speak, permission from their brain, permission from grammar, permission from certainty. That permission never comes on time. Fluent speakers don't wait, they enter. They trust that English will organize itself during movement. That trust is learned, not taught. Now let's talk about learning. Learning English is not adding more knowledge, it's removing interference. Interference is overthinking, self-monitoring, outcome focus, image protection. All of these feel intelligent. All of them block speech. Now let's talk about image. The moment English becomes about how I sound, it stops being about what is happening. Speech is an event, not a performance. Performance collapses under awareness. Events continue. Now let's talk about awareness. Awareness is useful after speech. It's destructive before speech. Before speech, awareness turns into supervision. Supervision turns into pressure. Pressure turns into delay. Delay kills timing. Now let's talk about timing again. Timing is the real skill, not grammar, not vocabulary. Timing means entering the conversation before you're ready. Read that again. Before you are ready. That's not carelessness. That's how speech works. Now let's talk about mistakes. Mistakes are not the problem. They are proof of movement. No movement, no mistakes, no fluency. Learners who make fewer mistakes often speak less. Learners who speak more make more mistakes and improve faster. This is not opinion, this is observable. Now let's talk about exhaustion. English feels exhausting when it's contained, when you hold it, when you compress it, when you supervise it. Release reduces fatigue. Movement releases pressure. Now let's talk about what English does not need. English does not need perfect sentences, strong confidence, fast answers, impressive vocabulary. It needs entry, continuation, tolerance, recovery. Recovery is key. Can you continue after a pause, a mistake, a strange sentence, a misunderstanding? If yes, English stabilizes. If no, English feels fragile. Now let's talk about fragility again. Fragility is not weakness, it's dependency. Dependency on perfect conditions. Fluency grows when English survives imperfect ones. Now let's slow this down again. Notice something. Every time you speak imperfectly and nothing bad happens, your system learns safety. Safety removes pressure. Pressure removal restores access. This loop is how fluency actually grows. Not from motivation, not from confidence training, from experience. Now let's talk about the hardest part. Letting English sound worse temporarily. Most learners refuse this. They try to improve without sounding worse. That doesn't work. Fluency is noisy before it's smooth. Now let's talk about noise. Noise is movement without polish. Polish comes later. Learners want polish first. That's why they freeze. Now let's talk about the final truth for today. English doesn't ask you to be ready. It asks you to move. Readiness follows movement, not the other way around. If English is not moving, don't add effort. Change conditions. Remove supervision, remove expectation, enter earlier. That's not advice, that's mechanics. We'll continue tomorrow. Same depth, different angle. This is Shadowing English Room, where English doesn't improve by force, it improves by motion.